Thank you, Stefan, for those gracious and expert comments. Good evening, distinguished guests, one and all. My name is SWITKOWSKY, and I'm the chairman of NBN. And on behalf of that company and all of my colleagues, can I say how thrilled I am to have been part of the successful launch of Sky Muster today. I notice that the Ariane launch vehicle is scheduled to pass over Australia at about the 50-minute mark, which is in 3 minutes. 50-minute compares to the 30 hours that it took by commercial airline to get here from the east coast of Australia. And I'm sure being on the launch vehicle this evening, you'd get a better view at 600 kilometres elevation than what we got through our commercial planes. Can I add my congratulations also to the ARSAT team and your colleagues from Argentina on what is an extraordinary achievement, and I trust that your satellite achieves all of the expectations that you have of it. Because launching satellites is never without risk, and so a successful launch, notwithstanding the extraordinary record of Arianespace, nevertheless a successful launch is a huge relief. A huge amount of work has gone into this moment. Thousands of people on both sides of the Pacific and right across the world have worked tirelessly to make this launch successful. And look, it's a significant moment for all of us Australians, a truly historic moment for our country. We have a long and proud history in the space and satellite industry, and it goes back many decades, and understandably so. Australia is a large continent, a surface area just a bit smaller than that of Brazil, with 23.5 million people, a comparatively small population with a wide distribution that in the 21st century requires, simply must have access to high-quality broadband connectivity, and for many of those people living in remote and regional areas, that can only be provided through a satellite platform, and hence today's launch is such an important event for us. It is the latest chapter in our long history of involvement in the space industry. Sky Muster will provide broadband access, Stefan mentioned this, to our remote areas, our bush, our outback, to which Australia and Australians have a deep cultural attachment. In many ways, the fortunes of our country are very much linked with the land. The bush may be sparsely populated, but it has contributed huge prosperity for Australia, and NBN will now help the bush and the outback and its primary industries operate more efficiently and productively. And Australians will be able to live in remote areas, in regional communities, and yet still be economically active via the connectivity that the space platform will provide. New opportunities will clearly arrive in business, in education, in health and social care. And the successful launch of this satellite vehicle this evening will revolutionise broadband in the bush in Australia, delivering the best ever broadband experience for regional, rural and remote Australians. And in some cases, there will be communities who have been connected to the broadband for the first time. Now, the National Broadband Network has been a very political project in Australia. I'm sure in Argentina, politics does not get in the way of your projects of this kind. We have been subject to a very high level of political and media scrutiny at the National Broadband Network, because it's a very big nation-building project. But today's launch is the successful culmination of 5 years of hard work, including the construction of 10 ground stations across the Australian continent. We are going to be a leader, a world leader in remote and rural broadband provision. And while some people talk about connecting the unconnected, NBN is actually going to do something about it, as you would expect of us in Australia. Finally, a huge thanks to our satellite team at NBN who have pulled off this project, and I know have been taking pictures in the control room. They have delivered a large project, a total cost to us of about $1.2 billion US, a project on time and on budget. It really is, in this day and age, a real achievement, and they deserve, and I'd like to offer them huge congratulations. Also, many thanks to our important partners in this launch, Space Systems Loral, that is now tracking the satellite. Our colleague has confirmed that they've identified the separated SkyMuster satellite successfully. We'd like to thank Arianespace and BIANCHI for their hard work on this project. And together with our partners, NBN has delivered an extraordinary change to the lives of hundreds of thousands of regional and rural Australians. If I'm allowed to kind of adapt a phrase, today has been an important step for NBN, but a giant leap for regional and rural Australia and Australians. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Allow me to start with a personal comment. After having been a 40 years veteran of this industry, having delivered 52 satellites and witnessed their launch from this same place, I was extremely pleased to witness the passion of our co-passenger ARSAT. Congratulations. Passion and dedications are the key for success. So I wish you another 50 satellites in the future. It has been an honor, of course, to be part of the Australian government visionary initiative to provide universal broadband services to their large continent. As you know, the internet is now part of our life, like water, electricity, and oxygen. And satellites are an extremely efficient tool to provide those kind of services. The satellites that we design, we have one in our Palo Alto factory, ready for a launch vehicle, are identical. And there are two of the world's most advanced broadband satellites. They provide over 100 spot beams over the Australian continent, small one in the coastal area where most of the capacity is needed and the population is, and larger beams every place else throughout the continent. I also like to thank, of course, NBN Chairman, who's here with us today, the CEO, Bill Morrow, who is, I believe, in Sydney, and the entire NBN team. But also, I'd like to thank, from a distance, the former Minister of Communication, Malcolm Turnbull, another visionary, important element of the Australian politics, who is now Prime Minister. What can I say? Thank you, Stefan. As I said many other times, you guys have the ability to show it to us that it's so easy to launch a satellite. As most of us know, it's not. And that is a testament of your professional competence and the ability to execute program with precision of clockwork. I'd like to say something about our milestone with the SkyMuster. Is the number 100 platform that we launch. Basically, the architecture is the same today as it was in 1989, even if obviously it's much larger and much more capable. And of course, this not only is a testimony to the evolution of our product at SSL, but also of what this industry is capable of doing. Only a couple decades ago, that same platform at 3 kilowatts and 1,300 kilograms was considered one of the largest satellites. Now it's 25 kilowatts, like this satellite we just launched, and over 6.5 metric tons. So thank you again to all the teams represented here for this great event and this great success. Thank you very much.
Bueno, buenas tardes a todos y a todas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the Argentine delegation, which has supported this endeavor and which has supported us today. I would like to thank Julio De Vido, the minister, and the French ambassador to Argentina, the various governors and members of parliament and high representatives, and all those who are with us today and who supported us today. I think that it's the perfect time to thank Néstor Kirchner for his political decision, as well as current President Cristina Kirchner. ARSAT 2 has just made a big step, and I'm glad to say that we've already been able to communicate with the satellite in Benavides. We've received the first signals. So everything is all right, everything is going as planned. Now we still have a month's work to do. We need to bring the satellite to its final position to carry out commissioning tests. And once this is done, we'll cover orbital position 81 degrees west, and this is very important for us because this is part of ARSAT's raison d'etre. In its articles of association, it is stated that ARSAT is created to create orbital positions allocated to Argentina with Argentinian-made satellites. So once we have done that, this will be a first step which was provided for since the inception of ARSAT. This is a key moment when orbital positions needed to be defended for Argentina, and the planning ministry under the aegis of Julio De Vido made this possible. It made it possible to defend our sovereign orbital positions, thanks to government decisions to defend a state-led satellite industry. Right now, this industry is robust and the whole world recognizes it. Just 2 weeks ago, ARSAT received an award given by the space industry, the Best Newcomer Award for the launch of ARSAT 1, as well as for the insurance policies that were bought for this satellite at a very good price. We were therefore able to design and build 2 geostationary satellites. And this progress will benefit the people. ARSAT 1 is now working fully. 30% of ARSAT's 2 capacity has already been booked, and in concrete terms it may be said that 2,500 rural schools are now connected. They're provided with internet and telephone connectivity with this satellite, and 25,000 households can have access to free-to-air digital television. Scientists in Antarctica are also connected and they can talk to their families. These are just a few concrete examples of what satellites can do, as well as the political decision to manufacture these satellites for the people. What is the next step? As we saw today, we are formalizing the ARSAT 3 project with the agreement that we've just signed with Arianespace, so that in 2019 we will launch our next satellite. satellite which will also be successfully launched from here, of course. But this is not magic. This is the outcome of government decisions, and it's been made possible thanks to the work of thousands of people, the teams at INVAP, ARSAT and CELLI, whom I'd like to thank and congratulate, and who made this reality possible tonight. I would also like to thank Arianespace for this 68th consecutive success. Arianespace, who've launched our 2 satellites into space. These technological developments are not just a technological matter. This is technology applied to the people, technology which is inclusive for the 40 million Argentines. These satellites were designed to cover the whole country, to provide the whole region with services where it previously was not possible. This is their value added. In less than 1 year, children have been able to witness these 2 launches. They saw rockets carrying Argentine satellites into space thanks to Argentinian decisions and work, and these things will stick in the hearts and minds of these young children. This shows that we can do incredible things in our country. To conclude, once again, I would like to thank you, and we'll continue our work.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening, everyone.
Voy a ser muy breve. Agradecer a las autoridades de
I'll be
Arianespace,
brief. I would like to
colegas
thank Arianespace. I would like to thank
de Australia,
our colleagues,
quienes construyeron el satélite
Argentinian
y a
colleagues
toda la delegación
who
argentina, pero
built
fundamentalmente
Sky,
agradecer
Australian colleagues who
en
built
nombre de mi
Sky
presidenta,
Muster, as well as the Argentinian delegation. On behalf of our president, I would like to thank the workers of INVAP and ARSAT who allowed this satellite to reach its position at 81 degrees west. I would like to thank the French authorities, the people, the employees and friends, all the people working here at Arianespace and at the Space Center that we visited today. I would like to thank you all for watching this launch today. As Matias said, we've received signals from the satellite in Benavides already, and will continue working. And as Stefan Israel said, we are confident. Argentina places its trust in its partners. We want to be active in our own future, especially in the space business. We'll carry on working with you. We have projects up until 2023, and in 2019 we're going to launch ARSAT 3 with technological innovations which have already been planned by ARSAT. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so thank you very much one more time to our customers, partners for their success. We will be back here in CSG for 2 other nations, and very important nations. We will launch for ARABSAT, and we will launch for ISRO at the beginning of November. It will be ARABSAT 6B in upper position and GSAT 15 in lower position. So thank you very much. Enjoy this evening, and see you soon here in CSG. Thanks a lot.
And again, that was Stefan Israel making his comments, and It has been an incredible night here. Another Ariane 5 mission has come to an end. This one, the 68th success in a row. And there is the replay again. It's been my honor to serve as your host again this evening. First time I came to Kourou was in 2007, and I look forward to many opportunities to share the excitement of a launch from French Guiana with you in the future. Again, we say congratulations to everybody involved in VA226, especially the folks from SkyMuster and ARSAT 2. And Bailey, you've got your bird in the sky, and enjoy it tonight. For the world's #1 satellite launch provider, Arianespace, I'm Harry Thibodeau, and I bid you good night from Kourou, French Guiana.
I wanna